Let's get into game number 3 draft here. The Pantheon's still going to remain banned. 2 have a priority on that one. Will the Taliyah and the Azir also follow suit?
Have to imagine so, but we are getting later into the series, and sometimes other picks become a priority on the ban list. The Taliyah, though, going to remain on the side of AL. We know that Shanks is also an Azir player, and so T1 going to respect that. The question is, will things like Poppy make their way onto the ban table? Xin Zhao, the Rumble still available in the draft.
Nico also yet to be banned out, has been on that ban list through the first 2 games.
Kyle would love to get his hands on the champion. Is it first pick worthy? Perhaps. Right now, AL taking their time thinking about how they want to round out their first phase of bans.
Yeah, we've got Rumble, Varus priorities pretty dang high. Twisted Fate actually making his way here.
Now the question is, will they ban Nico or will it be a
Varus
trade?
is up.
Nico is up, Varus is up, so they are potentially looking for a trade of those 2 champions.
They're forcing AL to have to choose. A lot of OP picks still available. I feel like AL will go for the Varus. It's evident throughout this tournament that they think Varus is incredibly strong. And so if they have no intention of picking it, they will ban it away, and if it's open, they'll grab it. This does mean that the Nico is available for T1. We know that Keria is an avid Nico player, and without any hesitation, they're going to grab that. And there's the Rumble. Sorry, the Jarvan. My brain was already thinking a step ahead. I like Rumble right now. Seems like the prime combination, a wombo combo in the making for T1.
Exactly. Already, Jarvan and Nico, pretty good combo together themselves. But the Poppy here trying to block some Jarvan shenanigans.
Nico uniquely powerful in the meta because not only are you a lane bully, but you also still bring that explosive engage, and no other champions really do that right now.
Definitely true. One of the few range champions that really gets tons of priority. But there we go, we break up that Rumble combination with the Jarvan, snagging it away.
I wonder if
maybe that'll be like an Ornn for Doran then, I'm guessing, because Galio's already out. So T1, that would be like the next possible answer into a Rumble usually.
As well.
Yeah.
Could just go something safe if they want just that tanky front line on the top side. You did mention the Ornn, both very viable options into the Rumble.
This is the counter matchup that Whippo spoke about, wishing that he had actually, let through the Rumble earlier in their match and tried to bring out this Ornn. So we'll see, how he's going to be able to actually perform on it. Doran very solid on these tanks, and it can be quite a good matchup.
T1, though, quick to remove the Poppy. You've already seen how many dashes are coming through from the side of T1, and they do not want to have to deal with that. The disengage that Poppy provides against this much engage as well is good to be rid of. AL, you imagine that the AD carry pool will be their direction. Maybe a Misfortune could be a good ban. Xayah potentially as well. Corki going to be the one to make its way onto the list.
Yeah, Corki burst damage there, along with the definitely very potent there with the Nico. Honestly, so many options down there, but we're whittling away at a lot of these engaged champions. Sylas gonna get taken off.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Lots of good ults to steal already.
A lot of really good ultimates to steal, especially Nico. We've seen Sylas's have huge impact in the draft, especially. Other AD carries that they could consider. I mean, we already mentioned the Misfortune, Xayah, maybe Senna for Gumayushi, but you wouldn't typically pair it up alongside the Nico. They're thinking more team fight, and so they want to take the Civet away. This does mean that Gumayushi still has a lot of options available to it. And we've talked a lot about the wombo combo potential. Aurora fits neatly into this comp.
Caitlyn, always an option for Guma as well, as you get deeper and deeper into Fearless. And definitely could go for one of those pushing
Kalista,
lanes.
too, everyone's favorite.
He said the word!
Everyone's favorite if you're an AL fan, Definitely, that pick has not done very well at MSI, 0-10. It's actually the losingest champion of all time.
Losingest? Yeah. That is a beautiful descriptor.
I think the champion with the most games played ever in MSI history without getting a win.
That's crazy.
The previous record was actually Malphite at 0-8. Kalista is 0-10 now.
Wow.
Yep.
That is a fun fact. Thank you,
It is a fun fact. Not for the Kalista players, but for everyone else.
I do love this this Aurora takeaway as well for T1. Shanks has been so good on it, Flandra as well. And so they're just going to opt, okay, fine. You take my Aurora, now I'll take the Victor that you spammed so much.
I will say that you've got a Victor and a Varus into Jarvan. That does make me worried for AL. It's so much lockdown on the side of T1. If those flashes are not available, oh, you saw the hover. You all saw it.
Wait, you guys don't want T1 to lock Kalista?
Definitely not going to be the case, but this team comp is so well set up for a misfortune that you mentioned way earlier, this Wombo combo. They have so many avenues for engage, and as you're rightly pointing out, these carries on AL do not have any safety. They do not have any dashes or even that much peel on their team. So this definitely looks like it is going to be dangerous for Shanks and Hope as far as their positioning.
Here's what we'll say. Game 2, we didn't get really any engage. Game 3, we've now doubled down, and we've got double the amount of engage across the board. Leona, Xin, Varus Ultima, Rumble to follow up on the engages. You've got Jarvan, you've got Ornn, you've got Nico, along with the follow-up from both the Aurora and MF. It's Ultimate City in Game 3, and it's going to come down to the team fights, which we know are AL's bread and butter. It's what's gotten them to this point at MSI. T1 with their impressive early games, the way that they've been able to navigate skirmishes, and also with impressive team fighting of their own. I'm excited to see how they match up here in Game 3.
It's going to be an exciting one. Both teams with the opportunity to move to match point here. All tied up 1-1. AL versus T1 absolutely delivering. The winner will move on, of course, to face against Gen G in the grand final tomorrow for a chance at taking the MSI title.
And either way, that will be hype. We'll get a follow-up on a full 5-game series.
Worth noting, Hope is going to be playing Poke Varus here. Does have the comment, so will not be playing on hit.
Will make it a little bit harder to get through this Ornn, but AL also have multiple damage threats. When you think of Jarvan, sure, if he gets onto a Varus, he can do a lot of damage, but Xin Zhao, I feel, provides so much threat onto the backline as well. And when you pair that up with things like a Rumble, high AP damage from the top side, the Victor scaling in the late game, AL have a lot of power in their composition.
And you can see AL, all of the players' records here against T1. Shanks actually with the highest win rate, only having played against them in this series. His first time getting to play against his idol Faker, who he met earlier at the event. They got a photo together, and you could just see how ecstatic he was to have a picture with the GOAT.
No, and we were joking earlier about how for so many teams around the world, if they could have the opportunity to beat T1, it would be like getting revenge, because they've just been at so many internationals, they've knocked out so many different teams, they've stopped so many players. AL, a big one for so many of these individuals, is already skirmishing in the bot lane 2v2, the range advantage going the way of T1.
Yeah, I mean, Keria has been so good with the Nico. And with the power of the early MF here, they get the health lead, they get control of the minion wave for pushing for level 2.
And I just love Keria using the heal there, not only for the early HP, but also for the move speed to actually sidestep that piercing arrow from Hope. So a very health positive trade from Keria there, using that summoner at level 1.
Meanwhile, Faker also pushing early here on the Aurora. All that burst damage with the Electrocute available.
I mean, it's Shanks that's coming out ahead, the Electrocute proccing in the second half of the Q there from Faker, but Shanks shouldn't be afraid. Yeah, he's going to walk up with the EQ auto, the Airy doing a bit of extra damage. Nicely played positioning. Shanks just leveraging his range. That's why Aurora can struggle in these matchups, because as you're seeing on your screen right now, it can be difficult for Faker to trade back if Shanks doesn't over-aggress in the lane.
And we did just see, or AL just saw Owner on the ward on Raptors, so they know he's on the bottom side. So Tarzan as well revealing on the Raptor ward. It means both these mid laners have full information.
I mean, Faker's got to be so careful. One more spell, and Shanks could flash in and try to get that solo. Faker does level up to 3, but as you said, Vedius, can be very difficult in these range matchups. Generally, we have seen Aurora picked as an answer to melee matchups, where you really can bully out. It's very difficult for Faker to actually close the gap, but Shanks is low on mana.
And Shanks knows the limits of the Aurora. Deny on the cannon, at least, though. Oh, And the laser, the crowd reacting so heavily to every spell there. The laser not landing, the cannon going down, and Faker gets to clean it up.
And it is so important when you're in a tense situation like that. All of these dodges that Faker is having, if one of those lasers had hit, he could have maybe threatened for an all-in. Tarzan now trying to push Owner out here as the bot lanes are getting involved. Great sidestep from Owner. Avoids that Zenith Blade, but now Guma is the target. Will KL flash in? He is going to. There's the cleanse, there's the flash, there's the first blood. It's Hope that claims it. Guma got sectioned off from the rest of his team. And now Faker potentially going aggressive here onto Shanks. Procs the electrocute with that weirding, and Tarzan continuing to scrap with Owner.
Those 3v3s on the bottom side can snowball so
flash
heavily.
in. Barrier going to be forced there. Will survive.
Yeah, Keria using his flash as well. So many summoner spells down here on the bottom side of the map. Definitely expect junglers to revisit. And currently, I see a Xin on my screen.
They're looking. No one's fooled by that minion. It's going to give you extra gold. They're locking him down, and they are knocking him down. 300 gold from a minion. First time I've seen that one.
Tarzan is doing so much work already in the early game. Not afraid to contest Owner on the bot scuttle, but he just realizes this early on into the game, Xin with the Varus Leona, they should be able to win out on these skirmishes. And T1, just a bit of mispositioning from Guma. He doesn't expect the collapse from Hope and Kael. Now, unfortunately for Hope, he does lose a decent amount of farm on the bot wave, and Owner does a good job of cross-mapping, stealing away the Gromp respawn from Tarzan, but still, AL off to a good start.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, those bot lane skirmishes can snowball so heavily. You know, Kara going for that flash play onto Hope and then falling in the aftermath as just a little bit of an extended trade. During these support recall timers, is going to be Keria returning first, but he's on vision.
Faker tagged there, as he did go into stealth. Tarzan around, so Faker will not chase any further.
I think he's looking for a steal away on those Raptors at the moment. Tarzan going to start them out very quickly here. Should be able to finish up by the time the Owner gets there. He has his smite.
Owner going to be able to spot him. Tarzan is behind Faker here, pings on to Faker. Will he be able to retreat out to the side? Does have the ultimate now, so could use that to escape if he needs it, but doesn't look like he'll have to.
Gonna get a bit of a cheeky trade onto Tarzan, take a bit of his HP away. Shanks quickly melting through his mana. He's likely gonna have to base soon. Faker, though, can keep the pressure up. Cannon wave. Yeah, and Faker's unrelenting with his push. I love how, even though he's at like prime risk of a gank, he's saying, no, I'm fine. I have my ulti. Ulti's gonna be dropped to push him back. That is a very low Aurora.
Yeah, Faker has no teleport.
I think he's going to have to... Nope, he is not. He's like, you don't have enough mana. Wants to catch this wave, and now I expect both mid laners to reset. Doran has made his way into mid. They really want to contest this dragon.
See if they're going to be able to do it. Owner is going to be first there to actually pull it. Tarzan in the area, though. Andre is up on that top side, but has his teleport available, and Faker is still quite low.
Honeyfruit there really going to help him out as he collects those through the river. So Doran can now...
Here comes Doran with the engage. He's going to be flashing forward. The Chilmo is perfect onto Hope. Beautifully done by Doran. Knocks him up, flashes in, knocks him up again. Is going to TP right back up to topside. But Flandre could TP down if they want to continue to contest.
Really smart from Doran. He knows after the bottom lane exchanges, no flash on that Varus means no dodging on his ultimate. Right up against the wall, just nails it there, taking out the extra kill before teleporting over.
I love this plan from T1, and the TP back to top lane means that Doran doesn't really lose much off the back of it. They saw Flandre TP early to bot lane, which means that after he pushes out that top wave, they can just match back up Guma into Hope. The farm swinging the way of Guma Yushi with about a 2-wave advantage, and after getting that kill, he now holds the gold lead in the 1v1.
Very good Ornn play, made possible by the early skirmish and the low mobility carries there. Still on the reset though. Tarzan's feeling fairly healthy, gets back out, gets his Scuttle Crab before the spawn of these grubs. AL are here very early. They've got Kael already positioned, so plenty of vision advantage for AL towards the spawn of grubs.
Shape Splitter used there to be able to scout out that side brush and does spot Kael, who is getting some very good vision around those grubs as you're talking about, Kobe. Doran is down on the bot side with no TP, so he will have to move if they want to try to contest this, because Flandre has moved early. He's already around mid lane, but was spotted by that ward over by the Raptors.
Shanks did just hit 100 stacks, so his E should now be upgraded, giving him a lot more wave clear in the mid lane.
I don't know if T1 are going to contest or not. I mean, Doran is still on that bot side. They're definitely fishing around, seeing is there an angle to at least steal one grub. But Flandre is in range. Faker poking back and forth here with Shanks. Proxy electrocute. Flandre now heading back towards bot side as he realizes the grubs are ours. T1 not going to commit without their top laner.
Yep. And after they finish up here, AL already sending Rumble back down. Flandre not going to lose too much. Ult used for Wave Claire as well to get the reset timer for Guma.
Looked like Doran was able to get a turret plate down on that bot side, though, so that is something for them.
Tense affair here in game number 3. AL trying to interrupt the bases as Tarzan wants to get his reds.
Faker is around, though. Kyle not going to be able to find an angle. Too many T1 members there to dissuade any sort of an engage.
Kyle is very far away from level 6. Carrier has already secured it. He needs to soak up some of the experience from this mid-wave. Try and get that as quickly as possible. It's a key engage tool that AL are going to have to rely on as we get later into this game.
And it is going to be very intense until we get to that mid game, because the later we get into it, we're going to see these two comps interact with AL having this range advantage, trying to use some poke Varus, trying to get a little bit of extra damage on T1 before the fight starts out. But T1 have such good long range engage with the Ornn ultimate and flank capabilities with the Aurora as well as the Nico, that it's going to be T1 playing the side lanes, trying to play the flanks to find their engage and force the fights onto the longer range AL.
Faker just being so annoying to Shanks there. You know, saw him step in the side brush, predicted he would just recall immediately when he went in, interrupts him with the weirding, makes Shanks stay around, hurting that tempo a little bit. Couldn't base since it wasn't a cannon minion wave, and did want to collect that. So Faker will have the faster base, and we'll see if he can do anything with that on the map.
Kyle finally ticking over to level 6, so now he has that engage tool. TP's available for both mid laners, and interestingly, Shanks going to use his, but Faker going to hold on for now. This means that there will be a tempo advantage in favor of Shanks in the mid lane. But Victor, not really the strongest roam champion. I don't think they can really threaten much onto Doran, especially with Flandre playing so defensively on the bot side of the map. I don't really think he can use much off the back of this.
A lot of the pings from AL, though, look like a deep play. You know, they've got super deep vision through this red quadrant of the jungle, and Tarzan's going to steal away another chicken pack here, since they've got the support roam timer for Kyle. Lots of pings, looking for a possible straggler, looking for anyone trying to retake vision, but T1 not exposing themselves as Dragon is spawning.
Faker going for a bit of a different build here. He's rushing straight towards Leandry. He's not doing the mask stacking that has been so common at this event. Is prioritizing the one item power spike, and is going to be pretty close to getting that Leandry's done. Shanks looks like he is building towards that Roa, and should have that completed here pretty soon as well.
I mean, it's just a slow back and forth farm game between these two teams. A far cry from what we received in game 2, where T1 just dominated the early game. Of course, if you have just joined us, it's an intense battle between T1 and AL as they fight for a spot in the MSI finals, a rematch against Gen G for both teams, who are able to push Gen G to 5 games in both of their matches, and that's why the expectations are so high between these two teams. Both AL and T1 have demonstrated the ceiling of what they are capable of. And it's Kyle that goes in.
Yeah, Kyle going in. He's committing to this. Tarzan now there to follow up. Keria in trouble. Will get knocked down. That's the feat of the warfare for AL. And now they have their eyes on the Dragon.
The synergy between these two, Kyle and Tarzan, no hesitation at all. As soon as they see the poke over the wall from Keria, they fight back and they clap back. That is going to be their objective.
Oner sneaking into the bottom wave. He's setting his sights onto Hope. He oversteps.
Oner not to be outdone, looking for an angle for the engage. Will Hope get close to that brush? Doesn't look like it. He is hugging the wall, and Kyle is there behind him. Feels like he has some sort of idea that maybe and there could be someone in the side brush. Now the TP's going to be coming in, and Hope has got to run for it. Can he get out? Pops the Ghost Blade. Great ulti to buy some time here. As Keria coming in. Can he find him with the Pop Blossom? Yes, he can. There are the Tangle Barbs and the Cataclysm. Everything and the kitchen sink thrown at Hope, and they get him.
AL rushed on mid tower, though, trying to mine some gold off of that thing to pay for the life of Hope.
Hope doesn't even flash. I'm surprised that he popped the barrier. I feel like that he'd accepted the fact that even if I flash this, that Jarvan's going to EQ ult me, and there was no way I was getting out of this anyway. But this is part of the risks that we talked about in draft. When you have a Varus and a Victor, these champions, once that flash is gone, there are a lot of tools that T1 have to lock these carries down.
Yeah, T1 getting some revenge there, get some money back for themselves. The kill, the tower plates on bottom side, and it does bring out the teleport from Flandre to relieve pressure.
You can see Doran has kind of made it through the most difficult stage of this matchup. He has the Kanik Rooker now, where he can start to shrug off so much of that Rumble poke. Doran already getting involved early, made that roam to help get a kill down on that bot side, that early catch onto Hope, and still not very far behind. So Shanks, feel like he's going to have to get a lot of work done in this one. Hope is going to be the main target, I think, and he's going to struggle to really put out a lot of damage.
And while I don't love the Rod of Ages build on the Victor, against this comp, it makes a ton of sense. Having that extra HP, that additional survivability can make the difference. We saw it from Faker earlier in this tournament when there was so much dive being thrown towards him and he was able to survive so much of it. Once that Zhonya's comes through as well, you're going to have a lot of tools to help weather the burst that T1 will be threatening with this composition. But it does mean that in this early game, this Victor not going to be doing a huge amount of damage.
Yeah, when this game pops off, it's going to pop off very, very hard with the amount of engaged tools that T1 have at their disposal. Of course, they're still working on the Proto Belt for Keria, which is the last real big extra tool that they need to bring together the very scary Ornn, Aurora, and Nico engage.
Very interesting. Guma does go for the standard Bloodthirster, but then is going into lethality second here. So, more commonly we do just see full AD items, Infinity Edge, Essence Reaver, these types of things. The AD scaling on the MF Ultimate is so powerful. So I'm going to be interested to see, is this just like a collector? Does he feel like he needs an Edge of Night or something to stay safe? What is the option here that he's really looking for?
I also wonder if it's just early lethality, because you look at Merc Treads across the board, there is very little armor in this early game against AL. So just that extra bit of power in this early game may also be the motivation for this itemization. We'll keep track of whether he chooses to upgrade it.
Yeah, and T1 are really looking to burst the enemy carries. So first objective, blow Shanks and Hope's flashes. Then all you need is lots of burst damage. So lethality going to help out there too. Add that little bit of extra damage on top of the Aurora if they can get that flank.
If AL do get the Herald here, they would have the Feat of Strength. They just need one more objective. So I think T1 looking to contest this. You can see that Shanks is the one matching Doran on that bottom side because Flandre does not have his teleport, so he's going to have to stay around in the area here. We'll see who wants to start this up first. Faker is going to get poked here, taking some early damage. Does go across the veil and gets back to safety, though. But that can be critical in a fight like this if AL can land some early poke.
Yeah, I like these looks from AL, specifically from Kael and Tarzan, where whenever they see one of these engagers from T1, whether it be Keria by the Dragon Pit or Faker over here, they immediately jump on them to just force a little bit of health, chip away at a little bit of the resources available to T1, because they're the ones that do have the extra range with the Poke Varus and are going to try and get these small little advantages before the big explosion.
You can feel the tension continue to mount as Guma holding onto that mid-wave push. Hope realizes he doesn't quite have the same wave clear as this MF. The crab being
they're going to
secured.
go behind
T1.
them here. T1 looking for potential engage. Keria going for Tarzan. They're trying to lock down the jungler. The CC is good, but the Crescent Guard buying a lot of time, and it's Keria that goes down first. Flandre on the side, trying to cook up Owner. Owner falls as well. This fight's looking bad for T1. They've got to run, but Doran arrives. Can he get one back? He does get the shutdown there on a Flandre. Faker fighting against Tarzan on the side as Gumayushi has been pushed out. Doran is isolated. Doran is knocked down, as is Faker. AL roar to life in an explosive fight that will net them 4 kills and the Herald.
T1, they thought the Hex Gates were their ticket into the flank, but they go for Tarzan. He shrugs it off, and they destroy them. That's going to be the Herald for AL for sure. Dragon is spawning on the other side of the map as well. Maybe the follow-up play here. Hope getting very low.
Bullet time ripped out there as Keria is back here with Guma. Was looking for an angle to finish off Hope. Couldn't find it.
Hex Gates are going to allow T1 to get back out on the map and look for the counter on Dragon, though. So while the extra kills and the Rift Herald goes the way of AL, during this replay, T1 will probably be taking a Dragon.
The ultimate timing from Tarzan was beautiful, and the way in which they just turned their attention onto Keria, I mean, that target focus was great. The arrival of Doran is a little bit late, and while he does pick up this kill, the fight is already so split. Shanks forces Gumayushi out of the pit. Doran is forced back because it's a 3 versus 1, and Tarzan in the jungle picks up a pick onto Faker.
It's also worth noting Faker's ultimate just slightly misplaced. The edge of it overlapped with the wall, so he couldn't actually bounce through to the other side to try to escape there from Tarzan, which potentially ended up costing him his life.
I will also say that the damage from Hope, very scary. It took off a chunk of Owner's HP when he was so close to getting away as well. 7-3 the kill difference. AL with a 3k gold lead off the back of this Herald. Guma trying to finish it, but he will not be able to find it. Tarzan navigates through the jungle, drifts left, he's going to drift right. The angle's too tight, not able to make it, but it will get him to top lane, another tower for AL.
Drifted too close to the sun.
Yeah, they can finish this one by hand though, it's okay. Get Shank some money on that tower. And the worst part about it for T1, where I was theorizing this comp is going to look to step number 1, blow the summoner spells off the low mobility carries of AL, then go for the big team fight to try and get those kills. They didn't even get the summoner spells off of Shanks and Hope because Tarzan was able to shrug it off with his ultimate and the big counter engage from AL. So T1 still have so much more work to do to be able to find a successful team fight for themselves. And AL, now with this gold lead, now with this map lead as well, getting down these turrets, having so much more room to work with, they will feel very confident.
So far in this series, we've seen T1 rush Arakan. Game 1, game 2, it spawned, they forced a fight. I imagine in this game, they're not going to be as quick to force that objective. Given that you're this far behind, of course, you still want to try and force a fight where you can, but starting the Arakan can put you in some serious danger against the lead that AL have built.
That being said, it is T1, and whether they are ahead or behind, they will start these objectives if they think it's a good angle.
Yes,
if they feel like, hey, we need to force a fight, they're going to go to the objective, they're going to look for a turn. And T1 has turned around so many games in their history through that confident shot calling.
If I was them, I would be hoping that AL starts something up and then they can look for a flank. But we will see.
I mean, in terms of itemization right now, it's not that different between the two teams. Of course, the gold lead looks scarier than it actually is, but there's still a few components coming through from AL. The collector was completed for Gumayushi, so we will have that slight execute towards the end of it. But it's Tarzan, where a lot of the gold lead is sitting, and he is the one that has that fully completed Black Cleaver. And given that he's got 4 kills, he's going to be a tough one to deal with. T1 setting up vision around this Arakan.
Yeah, I like this because then if AL try and start something up and make use of their advantage, then maybe T1 could find their dream flank. Maybe they wait for the Otacon to shred a little resistances off of AL to make up for the gold deficit. And they do have a lot of flowers already picked up off the Rift. So if they could maybe smite steal or something,
I mean,
that
it's
objective
20
away.
to 3. I'm kind of surprised that T1 was able to find so many. But Tarzan now saying this space belongs to AL. They will clear out this vision. They will push out that bot wave. And now the pressure is being put onto this bot tier 1.
Yeah, getting all those extra petals, that's the advantage of the pushing lanes that they had early on in the game. Faker getting poked out though. It's going to be hard to defend this tower on the next wave potentially.
Yeah, the siege here from AL with their range advantage looks very good.
Faker on the side, just trying to zone out any potential dive as it's Guma's job to clear out this wave though, but Tarzan and Kyle are behind them. They're going to go in immediately onto Faker. Chunk about to half HP. Owner cannot connect on the flag and drag. Carrier now getting engaged on. He's getting burst down by Shanks and he is just gone. Shanks deletes him from this world as Faker goes between worlds and tries to start the fight. Guma running from Tarzan. Doran is here. Kyle is low, but it's AL again, crushing the fight it feels like. Guma flashes back to the tower. Doran and him going to try to hold their ground here, but it's a 2v5. They need to cut the wave. Guma trying to heal up as much as he can, but Tarzan flashes in and knocks him down. It's a multi-man knock up there from Doran, but the heroics are not to be. Doran falls as well. AL lose no one. They'll get the tower and they will get the Otacon.
Tarzan is such a Chad. He just walks up to them, starts fighting between towers, chunking out multiple people, and AL pick T1 apart.
Perrier and Faker are still alive, considering fishing for exit kills, but they will not find any. We look back at this play, and as you highlighted, Kobe, Tarzan with the aggression immediately onto Faker, sidesteps the knockup from Owner, and with the arrival of the Rumble, the combo dropped onto Carrier. He's eviscerated from the fight, and it turns into this one-sided affair for AL.
Yeah, that Leona combo into Varus ultimate and just deleting Carrier as well. AL running them out of their own defense here. As you know, they also finished up on the tower afterwards, so bunch of kills, plus the tower, plus the cheer from the coaching staff. And AL will feel very comfortable now.
Doran could be in some trouble. Equalizer gonna get dropped, but potentially could walk this out. Flandre, though, overheating, slowing him down with the Electro Harpoon, and they are gonna commit the Arcane Storm, and he is not gonna be able to get out of this one. He is tanky, but not tanky enough. T1, though, trying to fight back on the other side. Do take the top tier 1 for a bounty, and are gonna be looking for this top tier 2 as well, trying to get that injection of gold that they need to give them some hope in these fights.
It would be risky for Flandre to TP and try and defend that top tower. T1 would not hesitate to dive, so instead, AL would just accept the loss. They'll concede the gold, as they're able to, at the very least, trade it back on the bot side of the map.
We mentioned it in the earlier game, but this must feel so good for Tarzan. Absolute monster game for him versus T1, a team that cost him a lot of heartache in Worlds 2023. But he has come back so strong and leading this team. He said it really does mean so much to him to be able to lead this AL team. Now in this position, looks like they should be able to close in on the rest of the map. Baron will approach in just 20 seconds. AL can move over with their advantage, have Kyle move up, take vision control first, and look to punish T1. Whereas T1 need the surprise play. Vedius, the flank, where is it going to come from?
I mean, AL, okay, right here.
Okay.
There is one ultra deep ward from T1 that they could use as a potential TP flank. If Faker or Doran can get in from behind, there may be an angle for them to set up a collapse onto AL once they've started off the Baron. But AL, their priorities are just keeping these waves pushed in and stealing away what they can. T1, though, with decent vision coverage still around this Baron objective.
Been an incredible journey for AL. All of these players have such unique stories. Tarzan, 6 times he made it to a regional final, losing all 6. The 7th was the one he finally is able to take this split with AL. And it was a heroic game 4 from him. One of the most incredible Zed jungle performances I have ever seen to get his team across that finish line, to get that first regional trophy. I had felt he was the best player in the world to not win a regional title. That has been checked. And now he is on the hunt for the international title.
Yeah, it's been heartwarming to listen to all the interviews coming from this team. We mentioned the earlier Tabe one, talking about his leadership qualities so closely. And Tarzan himself talked about from the day that he joined AL, he wanted to take responsibility for the team and use all of his strength to go together to the international stage. And now they are here, and they are showing that strength, Vedius.
Of course, even if they do in this game, T1 is a force to be reckoned with, and they've been pushed to these positions before, and they found miracles. They have made miracles. There is a reason why Faker has so many world championships to his name as they go in.
Looking, they've caught Shanks. Can they knock him down? He goes golden to buy some time. Doran can't get the redirect as he was CC'd, but the Pop Blossom will only buy a little bit of time. Oner goes back in, but Oner is by himself, trying to take Kyle with him. The bullet time gets one there from Guma, as Faker was hunting Hope, did force the flash, but it's 1 for 2. AL with the advantage, and they are hunting. Guma slowed there by the equalizer. He has to run for it. Tarzan on the side, seeing if there is an angle. Doran trying to buy some space for his carries, but he's getting slowed down, and Doran's in a lot of trouble now. Flandre is going to overheat, and Doran may just follow the blast cone, tries to get him out to safety, but it is not enough. Tarzan is pushing mid lane. It is just Faker and Guma here to hold the line.
A valiant effort from T1. They thought that they had caught out Shanks, but the Seeker's arm guard buying him enough time for AL to turn the fight in their favor. Carrier with a good ultimate just doesn't quite translate into the damage that they need. And while Guma lands a multi-man ulti across the members of AL, it only ends up picking 1 kill as AL find 3.
Both of the times so far this game that T1 have tried to go for the big fight for themselves, tried to go for their picks earlier with the Hex Gates, or just now. It has just been better responses from AL. Of course now, T1, they know they need to make that surprise play. And so they choose their moment, they make their play. But as you say, Shanks just gets his Zhonya's off. And then here come the reinforcements.
Doran getting stunned in the fight, meaning that he couldn't get that follow-up as well, was huge. He does do a good job of keeping Hope out of the fight, but at this point the fight is already lost. Guma does good damage onto 3 members. He does get himself a shutdown onto Kyle, but at this point the fight is already over, and AL just chase for the cleanup kills.
I mean, Shanks so difficult to take down, has a 3-level lead now, make it a 2-level lead as Faker had leveled up after that replay. Shanks nearly 18 though. This guy is monstrous right now. Doran in some trouble. Kyle gonna go in. AL look like they want to just pile in. Tarzan is chasing here. He is confident the equalizer gonna get dropped on him and Owner. Owner's gonna have to leave Doran, I think, with Guma, Owner, everyone coming in. T1 gonna look for a fight. Can they find it? The Pop Blossom CC is there. Faker arrives. Flandre in trouble, but Guma's gonna be knocked down on the other side. Hope and Tarzan kill him, and Tarzan flashing forward, getting another, diving into the back line. The shining light of AL. Tarzan will lead his team to victory. AL on the march.
T1 tried their best to fight back, but once AL had gathered, it was just too tall of a task. They win the fight once more, only Owner is left alive, and their base is falling to pieces.
T1 thought they had an angle. They wanted to go for the comeback, but AL would not allow it. It is just Owner here trying to clear out the wave, is able to cut the minions. That may buy them some time, but the Grubs there doing some work as well, still tanking up the tower. It's enough. Owner kills the minions, and they decide we're going to go for the dragon instead.
Owner with the defense there buys them some time, but AL will take the dragon in the aftermath. Here's another look. They full send actually on Doran, and Doran survives for so long that it does open up the counterattack possibilities from T1.
Look at the flank from Guma and Carrier. The combo looks so good, but Tarzan turns his attention immediately onto Guma, limiting what damage he can. Then Shanks arrives from the other side, the additional damage threat, and T1 end up getting collapsed on. Tarzan was so impactful in this fight and prevented Guma from turning the game around.
Exactly. He takes down Guma, he W flashes to finish off Doran and chase the other side for AL, and they actually did not go burn down Dragon number 3 for themselves, instead taking away jungle resources and maybe looking at a play over towards Baron here.
T1 are going to TP for it. They have Kyle in their eyes. Tarzan, though, coming in. Kyle's just going to flash around in onto Guma as Tarzan arrives. Kyle will fall. Hope is caught. Has no flash. Here comes Faker. He goes between worlds. He's trying to knock down the AD carry. Carry arrives as well. The CC getting piled in, but it's a great equalizer across the team. It is Shanks standing strong in the midst of T1. It is Shanks crushing through the fight with a triple as the Arcane Storm tears T1 to pieces.
T1 try and make another comeback, but AL are having none of it. This game will go to them.
AL stand strong. They push toward the Nexus. They have to buy a little bit of time for the minions, but they will arrive. And AL know this game is theirs. This team now on the precipice. They take us to match point as they're gonna claim game number 3 here. AL will fight it out, but there's no way T1 can stop them. 2-1 AL.
Shanks with the WE flash, shouting out his former team from where he was to where he is now, pushing T1 to match point and setting his sights